So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into the damn reactions, shall we? Now, there's been a lot of talk going on with Mr. Nas X again. And then we're gonna follow up with what Mr. Kai Cenat said after the situation. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know if the video is gonna explain that or not. But shout out to Blackie Spears. Little Nas X getting canceled for this. Let's get into this damn video, y'all. Let's do it.
Now it looks like Lil Nas X is getting canceled once again. What's going on with you today? Hope you're staying blessed out there, my friend. Thank you for joining me today, by the way. I appreciate you for showing up. If you want to thank me for showing up for you ahead of time, you can always drop a like on the video. Appreciate you. Today, I want to have a little conversation about this recent Lil Nas X story. So if you guys aren't aware of what's currently going on, well, let me tell you a little bit about it. So Lil Nas X, I'm sure you're familiar with the name and I'm sure you're familiar with the face. Lil Nas X, as we speak, is caught up in some controversy once again, and this time he's getting canceled for mocking Christianity. We touched on this topic a couple of weeks ago when Lil Nas X was making headlines for dropping a snippet of a song on his social media account where he was seemingly mocking Christianity. Or really, I wouldn't really say that he was mocking Christianity on that particular snippet, because in that snippet he was kind of talking to God through the lyrics. Give me hope when I feel less, he said on a snippet. And also, this was the more controversial part, he wore a shirt that said, if God doesn't exist, then who's laughing at us? ? So this entire story was hitting the headlines pretty hard a few weeks back. A lot of Christians were coming out and slamming Lil Nas X for this seeming mockery of Christianity. Now this entire thing was a part of a rollout for a record that he was apparently supposed to drop. So that's kind of what rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Are you really coming on here seemingly mocking Christianity just to promote this music that you're about to drop? That's what a lot of people were saying, and that's why he got so much negative feedback. Now this song right here that he was supposed to drop has officially been released. It's titled J Christ, and it just dropped yesterday along with a music video. Now it was right after the cover to this J Christ record was announced by Lil Nas X that the backlash started coming in. If you're looking at the screen, here's the cover. If you're not looking at the screen, essentially Lil Nas X is on a cross. And that's the cover to this record that he just dropped. So this, along with the history of him seemingly mocking Christianity, essentially led to Lil Nas X, getting all this pushback from a lot of people, but more specifically from the Christian community. One of the more notable people who called Lil Nas X out was streamer Kai Cenat. Now Kai was, I'm guessing he was doing like a little stream on his platform, and essentially he decided to go off on Lil Nas X, and he said a couple things. So let me show you this clip right here.
No! Yo, Lil Nas X, you could eat my whole... I hate that, bro. Nah, that shit just popped up in my head, bro. That... Bro, nah, word of my mother, bro, God gonna handle you in the right way. I didn't even talk about that yet, bro. But look, God gonna handle you, bro. And you're... Bro,
what he did?
No, bro.
What he did?
No, bro. God gonna handle that. Real
He do.
Nah, bro, I'm not even gonna explain it, bro.
But bro, no.
He's extremely disrespectful, bro. He disrespectful.
Okay, tell me how he disrespected, because, bro, you can't be on that bad timing. I'm just sitting in the corner on bad timing.
Go on his page, bro.
Hey, yo.
He disrespect God himself. That's
Christianity?
crazy.
Like Christianity?
Yes, he disrespect the whole culture,
He was
bro.
mocking it?
Yes, mocking.
So as you could hear, Kai Cenat went in. And this clip right here of Kai calling out Lil Nas X has been going super viral. Now, a lot of people were on Kai Cenat's side, because from their perspective, Lil Nas X is definitely mocking Christianity, so fuck this guy. How we gonna let this guy do what he's doing just for the sole purpose of promoting his music? That's blasphemy what he's doing. Ain't no way we're rocking with that. This guy better get canceled. Now, aside from the people who agree with Kai, there's also a lot of people on the other side who don't agree with Kai Cenat's perspective.
I've seen that.
And a lot of those people are just as loud as Kai. There's one user who posted this tweet on Twitter that got over 10,000 retweets and over 110 likes, said the following: Kai, respectfully, shut the hell up. You have all these other artists on your platform that promote killing, stealing, drugs, cheating, and not to mention, you just had a little ass kid on your stream that raps about killing. He's talking about that 9-year-old rapper Lil RT. I really despise what the industry is doing with that little child. It's absolutely disgusting. And this person, by the way, who posted a tweet, they're actually speaking facts, because Kai did have him on a stream, and that little kid on Kai's stream did say that he's gonna rape a woman, which I thought was just, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about that kid, but it was absolutely disgusting. But finishing off this tweet, and not to mention, you just had a little ass kid on your stream that raps about killing. Y'all be picking and choosing what can slide. So this tweet right here is kind of like the highlight of all the responses summed together on Twitter. Just in general though, this is a pretty freaking big story right now. Like, it's going ultra viral, and obviously a boy does have a couple things to say about this. So let's talk a little bit about it. So
I was just about to ask, for the person who tweeted that, well, who is your favorite rapper? Because this is the thing it is. If we're going to holistically or go ahead and have our disgruntled feelings, you know, some rappers, they talk about that. They talk about that lifestyle, and it actually is about it. And then the people talk about that lifestyle when I'm talking about with, like, you know, gang banging street shit. They talk about that are about that life, and they talk about it, and they're not about that life here, you know. Hit or miss with that, but it's kind of contradictory to say it is that, like, oh, you pick and choose when to have like a fake outrage, but technically what it is that he put out is can also be classified as a fake outrage depending on who is reading that tweet within itself, right? So I'm not the morality police, but do I feel like, now y'all gotta understand what Little Nas, I've as much it is that I've seen Little Nas X, he's a troll. Like, wholeheartedly, this man is a troll. I've seen this, and I'm like, okay, I don't necessarily take it too. I take it with a grain of salt. I don't take it too seriously, because once it is that you do, everything it is that makes you angry about this nigga is going to just put him on the charts even more. You get what I'm saying? So, and this is what makes, unfortunately, this is why it is that people be on these musical charts as it is and really ain't saying too much, is because of the fact that, you know, people make shit big, especially it is if you're a troll, that makes it even worse. Now look at the definition of 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine is a huge troll, and that nigga was actually charting, and I was pissed about that, and I thought it was fake. I wholeheartedly thought that shit was fake. I'm just like, that nigga just chatting, and it was just like, no, he actually was up there. So this is the thing it is that I seen. I did see one video with he had like the long hair, and I guess like he's drinking the wine and getting like the communion and everything like that. And like, you're kind of dancing on that, and people have their own levels of beliefs when it comes down to religion as it is anyway. So this is already a touchy thing to talk about. So, what's up, JD?
So first of all, let's start here. Lil Nas X is not really doing anything that hasn't been done before. If you've been paying attention to things in the music industry, this is not the first time a rapper has depicted themselves as God, more specifically Jesus. Kanye West, like a lot of us know, in 2013 dropped this project called Yeezus, and on one of the songs called I Am a God, pretty self-explanatory, he was saying that he is a God, and people were actually calling him God. And then in 2006, when Kanye was on the cover of Rolling Stone, he, as you can see, depicted himself as Jesus on this magazine cover right here. And then we also have the late great Tupac on his The 7 Day Theory album cover, where if you're looking at the screen, Tupac is hanging from a cross, depicting himself as Jesus. However, there's an excerpt on the cover that explicitly states, in no way is this portrait an expression of disrespect for Jesus Christ. And then also Kendrick Lamar. I feel like this one is kind of overlooked. He's another one that said that he's a God. There was a lot of intricacies to him doing this. Like, as an example, he did this as he was performing the song Savior, where he specifically states on his song, I am not your savior. Essentially, he was drawing correlations between himself and Christ as a way to convey the message that he himself, as a public figure and as someone who a lot of people look up to, he's not perfect. And as a matter of fact, he's very imperfect.
Right.
So there's way more examples, but these are some of the most famous and most notorious ones. Now, Lil Nas X is essentially doing the same thing here. Now, the main difference between him and these other artists who did this is that, number one, Lil Nas X doesn't have as much class as these other artists when he's doing this. Because Nas, he's kind of known for being like an internet troll, which none of these artists who I mentioned are...
I literally said the same thing.
Considered as. Despite the controversies of someone like Kanye, he's still very much respected, and obviously Kendrick is very well respected, and Pac is a...
Oh yeah, what I was saying before. Literally, this man said the same thing it is that I was saying, that he's literally a troll. He's an internet troll. So he's going to do outlandish shit on social media because of the fact that it's like, you know, it's what gets like, what helps his, you know, his views, unfortunately, and on top of that too, like gets him talking. You know, it's a bad press is still good press type of thing. Now I don't go against anybody it is who does this, but there you have to be careful with what it is that you're doing when it comes down to doing bad press, because bad press is going to be more talked about than the good press, because people like going to bad press if it's something of like drama, lies, or you just being a troll, anything like that. People eat that shit up every single time. And Doja Cat is a prime example of knowing about with this and has openly stated this of like, trolling a lot of the times is what gets the name out there. Although people think otherwise of Doja Cat, people can say the same thing for Little Nas X. So it's a strategy, an interesting strategy, if you will.
Freaking legend, right? So Lil Nas X putting himself on a cross versus Tupac putting himself on a cross. Obviously, the lens that it's going to be viewed from is not going to be quite the same. Let's also not forget that Lil Nas X is a guy who not only is known as an internet troll, but there's a lot of people out there who, first of all, they don't respect him because he indulges in a lot of antics. So no matter how much good music Lil Nas X drops, and no matter how talented he actually is, there's an immense subset of people out there who Lil Nas X is never going to be able to win over. He's simply never going to be able to get on a good side of these people no matter what he does. Now, personally, I don't feel offended by this because I'm not a devoted Christian, nor am I Christian, period. But I will say that I totally understand why there's a lot of people out there who see what Lil Nas X is doing and they don't like this at all. They feel like this is disrespectful. They feel like this is blasphemy. And they don't want to put up with anyone making a mockery of their religion. And honestly, I don't really think you can be mad at those people at all. Because among politics and race, religion is one of those very sensitive topics that most people just don't play with. Especially those people who consider themselves as a, in this case, devoted Christian. So I don't really think you should be pointing the finger at anyone who feels any type of way about what Lil Nas X is doing. Because again, religion, it's a very touchy thing to play with. And also too, speaking of that, I don't really even think Lil Nas X needs to indulge in any antics because I think his music is good enough for him to be carried by. Now that's what I think, but obviously Lil Nas X does not agree. But part of the reason why I think Lil Nas X is actually doing this, there's actually an explanation to this, or I want to say a possible explanation because I ain't inside his head. So I don't really know why he's doing what he's doing. But what he's doing right here definitely leans towards the same reason why he dropped the Call Me By Your Name music video, where he was, of course, doing a little dance on the devil. One of the reasons why he dropped that music video, for anyone who didn't know, is because Lil Nas X stated at some point, I forgot where he said this, but essentially, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, he's always had like a complicated relationship with religion, specifically Christianity, because obviously he's gay, and a lot of the people who've been castigating him for essentially his entire life were Christians. So he used his platform to drop that music video as a way to respond to the excoriation that he's faced from his fellow Christians. Now I say fellow because if you guys did not know, Lil Nas X did actually grow up in a Christian household. As a matter of fact, Lil Nas X's father, R.L. Stafford, who's a gospel singer but also a devoted Christian, who grew up going to church in Bankhead, which is a neighborhood west of downtown Atlanta. He had somewhat of a hard time connecting with his son as a result of him expressing his freedom as he was growing up. So Lil Nas
Okay, so this is what it is I am going to say about this. I've had these conversations with my parents before because obviously I've come from a Christian household. So I can understand with this. Now, even in my own church, I have seen my pastors say some very crazy things about the people of the LGBTQ plus community. And I never really understood this even when I was a kid, is because why does the sexual orientation matter of somebody else if God loves and accepts everybody? Right? So I've always, this is why it is I'm always saying it, is that like, everybody that's a part of the LGBTQ plus community is always welcome here, because it's very kind of hypocritical, and I've seen a lot of this level of like, oh well, the fake outrage within church. I've seen this firsthand even within my own church, and I'm like, why do we care so much about somebody's sexual orientation more than the word of God himself? You know what I'm saying? I know this talks about this within the Bible, but they're like, I'm gonna even say it. There's even far as things going on within the church that adults ain't had no business doing in the first place. people that, you know what I'm saying, like that be dealing with some things with some children, or some with women knowing damn well it is they have no business doing that in the first place. I don't understand how it is that's linked with that neither. But you're calling yourself a holy person. So there is a bit of hypocrisy that comes from within the church, and also like with that level of acceptance. So I can understand that. I could get where it is that he's coming from. It's a powerful push to put onto within music and to talk about that, because nobody else is actually really doing that. And if we're being really honest, we've just gotten to a level of acceptance where it comes down to people that is a part of the LGBTQ community in music industry. Now we've had some people in the past before, like we've had Queen Latifah, although it is that she's never really openly said that before. You have the Brat. You've had a lot of women it is who have been bisexual that you don't necessarily, it's not necessarily open as well. Like you can kind of hint it, but it was never something it is that they dropped, because back at that time within like in the 90s and the early 2000s, that wasn't something it is that was accepted or get views. Now we're getting to a level to where it is that people from the LGBTQ community is thriving, and if you say anything about them, they gonna be on your ass like, what was it? What was it? So, I'm glad it is we're at a level of acceptance now when it comes down to this, but there are a bit of people that are, especially from an older generation family, an old school family, that is just like, I ain't really with all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm having a hard time accepting this, and this. I want my child to be this, and this. And it's like, look, you have to let your child live the way how it is that they want to live. You've already did that. You've already did that. Now it is up to them. But I can't, as much it is that I'm saying this, I can't necessarily just tell somebody's family members or friend or parents or something like that to be like, oh yeah, you gotta accept that as to what it is. Like, it's hard on, it's also another touchy subject along with talking about with religion, that could be like, it's on the fence about it. But I am glad it is that there is a level of a space that now everybody could kind of just be the who it is that they are and talk about their issues, and more people can feel more comfortable enough to be like, okay, I've been feeling this and now I want to do this. I feel like this is what it is I identify with. So, you know, moving
Nas
forward.
X, as he was growing up, he had like a little rebellious period, specifically in his teen years, and he stated that he felt trapped because he ended up dyeing his hair, and then his dad ended up being really mad at him. At the time, he was 18 years old, and then Lil Nas X, he spoke on it some time back. He said he feels like whenever I do something different, I'm trying to follow in somebody else's footsteps. Now, the reason why I'm bringing all this up is to kind of try to understand why he's doing what he's doing, because personally, I don't think everything he does should be brushed off as antics. Now, the fact that people do that is obviously his own fault, because he's choosing to operate in a certain manner, and that's obviously going to lead to people having a certain perception of him. But now, knowing a little bit about Lil Nas X's history, it's very clear to me, and it should be clear to you as well, that there are some unresolved matters as far as why he's moving in the way he's moving as it relates to this particular story. With that being said, I'm still not going to blame anyone for feeling some type of way about what he's doing right here. I do, however, think there's an explanation as to why he's doing what he's doing, because to be fair, he did put himself on a cross, which, like we've stated, a lot of other artists have done it as well, but he hasn't explicitly made any ignorant comments about Christianity, and I don't think he would stoop that low because he does come from a family of Christians. But then again, you can't really look at the response he's getting and then brush that off as, oh, people are saying this because he's gay. I would say that the majority of people who are having a very strong negative reaction towards his actions have this kind of response because they feel like it's blasphemy. Now, on the other hand, to Lil Nas X's defense, we do have to be honest and acknowledge the fact that this man right here has faced a lot of unjust treatment from hip-hop. Not only from hip-hop, but from the world in general. And a lot of this negativity has come his way because of his sexual orientation. Yes, he didn't have to flaunt his sexuality right in front of our face, but he did it, and he's time after time elicited a very strong negative reaction from the public, but more specifically hip-hop. So there are a lot of people who despise him and have a lot of disdain for him because he's a man in a genre that's hyper masculine. That's not a term that's negative nor positive, it just is. And on top of that, that's male dominated, and he's gay, but most importantly of all, he's a gay black man. And an openly gay black man in hip-hop isn't something that's really gonna fly with most people. And this is part of the reason why I think Lil Nas X moves in the way that he does as it relates
Okay, so let's flip this, right? Yo, Jimmy, what's up, Jimmy? Let's flip this. So if we're gonna talk about this of people like, if we're gonna talk about this thing is like a black man it is who's gay in the music industry, if that's an issue, then why aren't we talk about those same closeted motherfuckers that be going to these damn parties spreading their damn bussies open because of the fact that this thing, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is that they really like. In the literal sense of fart. Right, it's like, come on now. You can't sit there and say that when it is, you know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of ditties out here, allegedly, I don't want to get sued in any form of way. Allegedly, there's a lot of ditties out here that, and I just talked about this within the church, but within music industry as well, and that are also big executives as well that be doing the same thing. So like, what is the out? This is why I say this is kind of a fake outrage. If we're gonna say this, there's plenty. Like, boy, when I tell you it is, mind you, I am an ally to the LGBTQ community. There is a lot of people in this who are closeted people that are just like, I don't want to talk about this, but this is this, but this is what it is that they like. Like, come on now.
His sexuality. He knows that the majority of the culture doesn't like him. So if I have the knowledge that none of these people like me to begin with, why in the world should I appease them? As a matter of fact, let me use my platform to troll them because I know they don't like me. And this is the same reason why a lot of his fans rock with him so hard. Not only is he a very talented musician, but a lot of the people who support him feel like he's serving as a symbol for the people who, like him, might have been castigated from their community or their family because of, let's say, their sexual orientation. And it doesn't necessarily have to be one's sexual orientation. It can be something else. But regardless, the connection that his audience have with him directly comes from the fact that he's that guy that the majority of the culture, hip-hop in his case, doesn't really rock with. But despite that, he's still out here doing what he needs to do, and he's showing up for all the people who might feel the same way in the world, just like he felt when he was growing up. But regardless of that though, as for this story, I think if Lil Nas X is gonna go down this path, he better be ready for what's about to come, kind of like he was when he dropped the Call Me By Your Name music video. And also too, if there's some kind of, I don't know, explanation, truth, or reason as to why he's doing this, offering a little bit of context in the music and outside of the music as well wouldn't really hurt at all. Regardless of that, I don't think he's gonna actually get canceled, but there's a lot of people out here who are speaking out against him after these actions right here. Anyway, if you made it this far, can you do me a favor and drop a like for all the hard work we're putting in? Thank you, I appreciate that. Also, if you're new here, make sure you're subscribed. What do you think about this topic? Lil Nas X is getting canceled. He's getting a lot of backlash right now, and you know the story. Do you have any thoughts on this conversation? Curious to hear what you have to say? Catch you in the comment section below, and I'll also catch you on the next video as well. You have a good day, peace, and I'm out.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Like I said, I'm not surprised by the antics it is that Lil Nas X does, because it's the way how it is. Like, he's always been a troll. So for us to sit there and kind of just, be like, oh my gosh, he's doing this, and this. With religion, it is. I will always say this when it comes down to religion. It is based off of the person's one belief and which side of this belief it is that they are on. There you have somebody that is completely left, and you got somebody that's completely right, and you got somebody that's mutual. So, I'm gonna just call it for what it is. But yeah, somebody said the same thing. It's like the people outraged against him is the hypocrisy, which what it is I was saying. But all right, shout outs to Blackie Spears. Shout outs to you at home. Well, shout outs to you at home, and shout outs to everybody in the chat. I will catch y'all in the next video.